What's up? Welcome back to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. We're back in Rock Tunnel. I managed to not get an encounter because my encounter was Onix and it really wasn't worth it. Well, not just because it wasn't worth it, always also because it was a pain to catch. Why couldn't I just have gotten this? I'm not going to catch too many Pokemon, but my Venonat and Charmeleon do need some training since I added them to the team. So hopefully I can get through Rock Tunnel. Rock Tunnel in this game is a lot better than normal, just because we don't have to encounter Pokemon along the way. The main, hard part about Rock Tunnel was, first off, not being able to see if you didn't bring Flash. Second off, Flash being so annoying because it's an HM, and because you get an encounter every 5 steps. So hopefully with those 3 things gone, it makes my experience of Rock Tunnel a lot less hated than normal. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch out though, because I don't think Rubber can take this out without getting water gunned or something, especially since it's level 23. I forgot that Glams has Thunderbolt, so I guess I'll switch into that. I recently just messed with the audio a bunch, so hopefully it's okay enough to where I don't have to try to fix anything in post. I'm trying to standardize it so it's a lot less inconsistent because there's been a lot of issues that I've been having. Like the last video I just did, which was Void 2, Ilessa's gym. Like, the game was way too loud, and I forgot to fix it before I rendered the video, and I don't want to delete and re-upload it just because of that, so I'm kind of stuck with it, and I'm trying to make sure that that doesn't happen again with anything else. So hopefully the game audio for this isn't too loud or too quiet. I want it to be, able to be heard, but I also don't want it to not sound like anything. I didn't even see that Geodude. Let me switch to Pokeballs. Yeah, so hopefully it should sound fairly consistent throughout everything. It was kind of annoying because the way that the volume... It was, for some reason, on Let's Go Pikachu, it was doubling my mic audio, and I have no idea why. Well, actually, I do have an idea why, and I just fixed it. So I should be a lot quieter than normal in these videos specifically, but you should also be able to actually hear the game. I'm just trying to fix things like that, so these videos specifically should be a lot quieter, and the Volt Whites should be a bit louder. Oh, that makes... yeah, that's what I mean to say. Can these Onix... I can't get around the Onix. Oh, yes I can. I can't get around the Onix. Immediately walks around the Onix. I'm supposed to be looking at Pikachu's tail to see if there's hidden items, but it's really hard to tell when I'm facing sideways like that. There's a lot of Pokemaniacs in here. Kangaskhan would have been nice. I mean, only because it has a Mega, but you can't even get Mega Kangaskhan until you beat the game. It's almost like there's no point in having the Megas because you can't actually use them. You can only use the Mega Starters, which is really annoying, actually. Like, there's no post-game in this game, so having Megas doesn't do anything for you. And there's no actual online system in this game. I mean, there is, but, like, it's so bad. It's code-based. It's actually awful. It's so bad that people have had to, to make the online system, you just click 3 Pikachus as the code. It's not a real online system. It's so unbelievably terrible. I have no idea how they came up with it. Like, unlike the 3DS, this is an online service we pay for, but it's like way worse. I feel like they're trying to throw away online in general for Pokemon. I really hope that it's good in Sword and Shield, but based on everything else for Sword and Shield, I'm ready to be disappointed. I know you can do raids with people online. Actually, I don't know if you can. Hopefully you can do raids with people online. I wouldn't be surprised if it was local only, though. Like, the PSS in Gen 6 was the perfect online system, but then they removed it for some reason. They could have easily put the PSS on the Rotom decks, but instead they just decided to make the bottom screen like a pointless map. Well, not a pointless map, but like... They could have done so much more with it. Big Golbats. I always forget how large Golbat are. You know, if there's one thing that Sword and Shield, not Sword and Shield, that this game actually did right was the scaling on the Pokemon in battle. Well, besides, well, I mean, the scaling of standardized scaling. Because, like, one thing that, like, did bother me about this game is that this Golbat's supposed to be larger than normal, but when you use it in battle, it's the same size as a tiny Golbat if you use that one. So that's kind of silly, but I'm glad that they did show big Pokemon like Onix as actually being large in this game, rather than being like the same size as everything else. It definitely helps, but they ruined that in Sword and Shield. It's actually broken. It's not like that anymore. Okay, great. So I was looking at a picture of Sword and Shield, and they correctly scaled the Pokemon in the overworld, but they're not actually correctly scaled in battle, which is really strange. So a lot of Pokemon shrink when you go into battle. We're gonna have the same problem when you use Wailord again. You know, I think the reason that they did that is because the trainers in Sword and Shield stand so close to one another. Like, I was looking at the picture of the gym battles, and they're standing, like, no more than 10-15 feet apart. It's really small battle zone, especially since they stand in front of the Dynamax Pokemon, which seems incredibly dangerous, and I have no idea why that's a thing. They should just be farther apart. Because I remember in Battle Revolution, the trainers are super far apart, and it allowed for the Pokemon to actually be huge. There's a Cubone here. It allowed for Pokemon to actually be huge, like Wailord. Like, Wailord would be full size in Battle Revolution. And it was great, and they could probably easily do that in Sword and Shield. Not even probably. They could easily do it in Sword and Shield. But, they didn't. And I'm not sure why they made the trainers so close together. Especially when they added Dynamax. Like, you'd think with Dynamax they'd, like, put everyone super far apart so that it would make most sense, but no. This is what I mean by correctly scaled, though, because this Onix is massive in this game, when normally it wouldn't be that much taller than the trainer in, like, Sun and Moon or something. And they clearly have the ability to do it, because they did it in Let's Go, which is arguably one of the laziest games in the franchise. So, like, I don't know, there should be more. It's really strange when I'm looking to this game and it's actually doing something better than Sword and Shield. And this is the worst game. I hate this game. But it is the little things like that that bother me. I'm not all about the National Dex issue specifically, but there's so many things Game Freak could be doing better. Like, not even from just stuff they could be doing better, but like they could be improving upon their own game, but they keep removing things that are good about what they already have. I could go on and on about how they should make it an open world like Breath of the Wild or whatever, but they don't even have to do that. They can keep doing what they're doing, but they should at least be using the resources they already have. It's really strange when they don't. I really wish I had a better Psychic type move. Am I gonna get like Psybeam or something? I'm pretty sure I looked up my moveset and I'm not. It's really strange, but whatever. The movesets in this game are really confusing to me, because they removed a lot of moves to simplify it, which I don't specifically mind. I do mind removing items and abilities, but the moves thing doesn't bother me nearly as much. But the strange thing is they've improved, quote-unquote, a lot of movesets by giving Pokemon good attacks later on, but then they also ruin a lot of the movesets because, like, this doesn't learn any Fairy-type moves, neither does Jigglypuff or Clefairy, so they get nothing because Fairy Wind and Disarming Voice don't exist for whatever reason. Like, they ruined Sandslash because I'm pretty sure it doesn't get Steel-type move in this game, I think. It was something like that. Or maybe it doesn't get Ice Shard, that was the problem. Like, I don't know, it feels like they're trying to simulate the movesets of Gen 1, where every moveset was terrible. But then they also gave them a bunch of good moves at the same time. It's like to give the good moves, they had to remove other good moves on certain Pokemon. Like how Ivysaur doesn't get any Grass-type moves except for Vine Whip until like 30-something. And the strongest Grass-type move it gets is Razor Leaf, besides Solar Beam. I doubt Charmeleon's gonna get anything better than Ember for a little while, too. I mean, I feel like with Game Freak it's always been that way, where they add something good, but then they remove something else that's good, because they think it has to be balanced, when they could just keep adding good things. I'm tired of these rock types, I don't have a good way of dealing with them, and I don't want to keep sending out Boomin when he's this high leveled. I actually do love Stealth Rock's animation in this though. It's great. I've already said that, but it's still great. I'm probably gonna avoid these hikers from now on. The only thing I can take them out with is Boomin anyways. I really wish I had a special attack in it. I am missing Gloom now that it's dead. Well, it wasn't a Gloom yet, but it would have been a Gloom. Plus, I would have had, I would have had Vileplume by the time I got to Celadon City. Yeah, like, okay, did you see that? So I was paying attention to the trainer just now. They moved the trainer back when Onyx was out, so that there was more space for Onyx to be in. But then they cut the camera to where you couldn't see the trainer when they sent in Graveler, and then they moved him upwards. This might hurt, actually. Oh. That's what they should be doing in Sword and Shield, but instead they just scale down the models, which looks a lot worse. Yeah, you can't see the trainer when they do that, because they don't have an animation for it. It cuts off of them because they don't actually have an animation besides standing there. But it's still better than nothing. Which, you know, Sword and Shield doesn't have the scaled models. It may seem like I'm being, like, nitpicky to hate on Game Freak, but that's not really the case. It's just, like, they have the resources and the quality already there for a lot of the things. They're just choosing not to use it. You have to remember that Pokemon is the highest grossing thing on the planet, and it does deserve better. Like, it's actually astonishing how many things they get away with, because there's so many people defending them as if they're a person. They can't get their feelings hurt. They're a company, and they're doing what they want for money, and, like, they're just choosing not to. They have the money and the resources. It's the highest grossing platform on the planet, or franchise. But instead we have a game like this, which is it's almost unforgivable. They really could be doing so much better with what they have, but they're choosing not to. And it's been a consistent trend with Game Freak for a while. I'm done with fighting these hikers. I'm just gonna get out of here. I don't want to fight any more rock types. Can you turn around? Does he turn around? What if he doesn't? Let me just go ahead and lead with Odep. He's the only other thing I can use to actually kill these rock types. Outsiders like you need to show me respect. Dude, you just met me. I couldn't have disrespected you if I wanted to. I know this whole series has just been me complaining about this game in general, but like, it's just how I feel about it. Like, ever since it came out, it's just that people are just now starting to talk about the state of Pokemon in general and what Game Freak's doing to it. And so it's a lot easier to discuss these things recently than any other time. Because it's not like Pokemon games have gotten any less enjoyable over the years, which would be wrong, because they're just as enjoyable as they've always been. It's just that it could be so much better. We're getting like the bare minimum when we could be getting the AAA game on par with Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild or any of the other Switch titles that have been coming out. Dragon Quest is a great example. The battles that should at least look as good as Dragon Quest for Switches. Alright, please chill. They should at least look as good as that. That's probably the best comparison, since it's another turn-based game. Dragon Quest XI is really good. I've actually played a lot of that game. But, they should look like that. Like, you don't have to change the formula to make a game good. It can still be a turn-based RPG like it is right now. There's just so much more that they could be doing with it. That and Cyber Sleuth, like, Digimon Cyber Sleuth is also going to come out on Switch soon. The battle should look like that, but every Pokemon battle that we've had recently has looked worse than a lot of those games that have been out for years. And yes, it is more work, but like, they have the resources to hire more people. They just don't. Instead, they have a studio of 150, less than 150 people, but then they split half of them up for town. They split that half in half because they want to release a Pokemon game every year, so half was working on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, while the other half was working on Sword and Shield. So that's like 30, maybe 40 to 50 employees per game, which isn't very much. Breath of the Wild had about 300, I think. it's just kind of sad seeing what's happening, because this is one of my favorite, you know, games out there. Not this game. I mean Pokemon. I need to be specific, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm talking about Let's Go Pikachu, because that's not true. Anything down here? I completely forgot the layout of Rock Tunnel. At least without encounters, I'm free to basically wander aimlessly without too many repercussions. I've got to heal. Let me switch before I get magnitude. I really want to be able to use Mothman, but it's going to be a little while before it's actually strong enough to do anything with. Hopefully I can train Mothman up in the gym. The only problem is, that's also a huge problem with Gen 1, because, oh actually I can dig. A lot of the Pokemon are Poison type, and that stands for every Grass type too. So there's only 2 Grass types in this game that I can actually hit with Poison type attacks, and be super effective, and that's Tangela and Parasect. And yes, Erica does have a Tangela, I think, but it's just like, it's not even a good gym for me to be training Venomoth, because Bug type moves and Poison type moves aren't super effective on the Grass types they're going to be using. That's not really a legitimate complaint that I have, it's just something annoying that I'm pointing out. I'm trying to differentiate that from my other complaints that are actual complaints. But it does make a lot of Bug types. That was a huge reason why Bug was just a terrible type in Gen 1. That and all the Bug types are bad. And there were no Bug type moves. And, and a lot of the Bug types were Poison types, so they also got beat by all the Psychics really hard. Psychic was just unbalanced in Gen 1. And it's also kind of strange how, like, there were only 2 Pokemon. Like, there were 2 Pokemon that had their own unique typing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, that's kind of cool. But, like, it's really strange that they created Ghost and Dragon, even though, like, they're only used for 2 Pokemon in the game. If only I had Compound Eyes, that would make Supersonic a lot more actually usable. Let me just go ahead and heal before I forget. Okay, so I think I'm gonna end this one here. I'm probably gonna start making every episode for everything a little bit shorter, because when it hits 30 minutes, then it takes forever to render and upload. So I'm just gonna try to shorten them slightly. I'll probably still hit 30 minutes now and again, depending on what I'm doing, but my goal will be about 25 from now on. Before it was like 30, and then I'd go over to like 35 sometimes, and that'd be a problem for me. So I'm just gonna limit it to about this. So we'll be back next time. I'll be able to finish Rock Tunnel, and I'll make it to Lavender Town. I don't even remember what I'm supposed to do in Lavender Town. But once I get to Lavender, I'll probably skip the Pokemon Tower and just get away from me. Get away from me. Damn it. I'll probably skip Pokemon Tower and just go straight to Celadon for now. That sounds a lot better, because I really want to buy some TMs and stuff at the Game Corner. Oh wait, no. The Game Corner doesn't exist in this game, because it got snapped by Masuda. You know, I get removing the Game Corner because of gambling issues, but like, they could have added Voltorb Flip or something. Instead, there's nothing there. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I'll be back. I'm just gonna go to Celadon City after this. See ya.